why is he sort of fat, but not really? These pickaxe aliens look like Clash of Clans characters. What's up with that chin? Ladies and jellyfish, welcome back to A.S.K. You guys seem to love it when I compare Ben 10 character designs from the 3 major eras the franchise went through. Every time I do this, I seem to miss or forget a bunch of characters. So today, let's get back in the game for hopefully the final time, and go over 40 more characters in the Omniverse redesigns, to see if they're good, bad, or just plain ugly. Let's go. Let's kick it off with Arjit, who seems to have a slight favor for the Omniverse redesigns from you guys. While I think the UAF design is much better, it really exemplifies his con man sort of demeanor, without looking too cute or friendly like in the Omniverse redesign. You gotta love the Vilgax he gets an Ultimate Alien Force, and something about his Omniverse design just seems kinda meek and little. In terms of exemplifying this character, obviously it would be better if he was more of a con man than if he was a cute plush toy. Next up we have Riedel, who had overwhelming support for her Omniverse redesign, and I gotta agree, obviously she had much more to do in Omniverse, so one goes to that. As for the pretty boy, or dodecahedron Riedel, same rule applies. The Omniverse redesign just fits a lot better, especially with the red color design over the purple. I know the Ben 10,000s are all technically different characters, but let's just compare their designs now. Most of you like the classic one the most, but I gotta give it to the Omniverse version. Everything about it is just better. The clothes, the beard, everything. Definitely not to the UAF version, that's for sure. Comparing two versions of the Ultimate Kevin or Kevin 11,000 design from the 3 shows yielded pretty interesting results. We had the classic Kevin mutation, along with Kevin 11,000 from the future. For UAF, we have Ultimate Kevin, as well as Alien Force Season 3's Kevin design. And for Omniverse, we have the Kevin mutation from both eras. While the design for the original series Kevin does look the best, the Kevin 11,000 one doesn't. So as a bundle, I gotta give it to UAF for this one. Sorry, Classic. The Ultimate Kevin character design is just too perfect to skip over. Definitely not going to Omniverse though, that's for sure. Let's get into the Plumber's Helpers, starting off with Hell on Wheels. I gotta agree with the voting for this one. UAF wins. The design is just so much better. Omniverse just looks too childish. Same rule applies for Manny Armstrong, whose Alien Force design is just really cool. In Omniverse, he just looks like forearms in a plumber suit. Same thing goes for Ellen Albright, whose Heat Blast in Omniverse looks like the kid version for Ben, while the Alien Force design looks really dark and cool, and shows the Heat Blast transformation way before Ultimate Alien. Let's stay in groups of 3 as we go on to the Circus Freak Trio. I would have split this into 3 different characters if the Omniverse redesign wasn't so trash. The original is perfect in every way. One goes to Classic. The Diamond Head Bounty Hunter himself, Tetrax, heavily downgraded in my eyes. While the Omniverse redesign does look more polished and actually adds a lot of good details, the Classic version is just so nostalgic for me, and honestly I might be a bit biased for this one, but I still feel like it's better in Classic. Also, what's up with that chin? One goes to Classic against popular support. Crab had 3 chances to get it right, and honestly all 3 designs are pretty good. I don't like the color scheme of Classic, so I'll give it to Omniverse for this one. Sunder. This was a really hard call for me, but I'll give it to Omniverse, even though I really love the UAF design. The spiked suit and the mask just look really cool, as well as the bigger hair. Although UAF's eye scar is also pretty cool. Kind of a throwaway villain. Trombipular, obviously improved in Omniverse. No need for discussion. Captain Nemesis had the closest thing to a tie here that I can see. I love how his mask has little shades now, and something about the face just looks a lot better. This was really tough for me, but I'll give it to Omniverse by a slim margin. One of my favorite characters ever, Inspector 13, heavily downgraded in Omniverse. The UAF design was perfect. You don't need to change the logo. What the hell even is that logo? And why is he sort of fat, but not really? Will Harang had 2 designs in Omniverse, one human and one not so human, but I'm just gonna go with the UAF version. Not much to change, honestly. I don't know how so many of you people voted for Elena's Omniverse design. I think it sucks. When it goes to UAF, I love how Simeon's UAF design won, even though it's literally just Spider Monkey with yellow eyes. Anything beats this trash. Edwecha, heavily improved in Omniverse. I love the red things he has on his arms now, as well as the cuff on his belt. Even something about the spikes on his neck looked more badass. Not to mention the face shape. You did good on this one, Omniverse, you did good. Speaking of Ledger Domain, Charmcaster's rock monsters didn't get the best treatment in Omniverse. Point goes to Ultimate Alien Force. Slick's Vigma, personal favorite character from OG, apparently had a scene in Omniverse. Yeah, no. Classic for life, baby. Lucy Man, who also had a throwaway scene in Classic, looks much better in Omniverse. One goes to Omniverse. As for Aunt Vera Tennyson, I completely disagree with the voting here. People seem to prefer the Omniverse version, and while I don't dislike it, I think her Classic version just has so much more life to it. Omniverse thought they were clever, making her shirt like Max's but with tulips instead of whatever the hell Hawaiian flowers Max had. But the old one just had life. One goes to Classic. Eunice got a heavy downgrade in Omniverse. I don't know how people support that, but yeah, UAF wins. Jennifer Nocturne also got a huge downgrade in Omniverse, and while I'm going against the grain on this one. I think Omniverse made her look too generic and bland to differentiate her with other characters. Even though Ultimate Alien could be accused of the same thing, I think there's still enough distinguishing features to make UAF win in this one. 6-6, who didn't change much, I guess looks better in Omniverse. At least the colors on the mask are brighter. An old villain, Rojo, got some weird voting patterns with this one. The UAF version, which obviously sucks, got no votes, but Omniverse actually beat Classic, and I gotta disagree. I think the Classic version is the best. Now let's get into some fan-made redesigns for some aliens that didn't even get a chance to be in Omniverse. Starting off with Jetray, who, Spitter, who showed up in the Can 10 episode in Classic, also showed up in the Ultimate Alien theme song, even though he was never in the show, and he got a fan-made design for Omniverse. Classic's the best. I actually like Chameleon's design for Omniverse. It's still not better than the original, but at least it doesn't ruin it. Fast Track? Oh man. I don't know what to say for this one. I want to go with Ultimate Alien Force, but something about those glasses is luring me to it. Omniverse, take the point and go. A lot of you guys mentioned in the first video that I forgot to mention UEF Ripjaws, so let's get him out of the way now. It's funny how people will go out of their way to mention something and then never even vote for it when it gets a chance. Classic always wins, baby. Forever Knights, while technically different iterations of them, were still the best in UAF. Same goes for Volcanus' Pickaxe Aliens, who were just destroyed in Omniverse. Jesus Christ. These Pickaxe Aliens look like Clash of Clans characters. As for Serena and Bellicus, not much has changed here. The Omniverse version makes them a bit darker and changes Serena's face quite a bit. While Bellicus stays the same, Serena now has eyebrows. Her lips look a bit different and she has a different shaped nose, not to mention the eyes. Really, the whole face is different. So if I had to compare the two Serenas, I guess Omniverse's looks better? This is a tough one, but I guess I'll give it to Omniverse. Now for Phil, who a lot of people prefer his Omniverse design. Look, I see it, I think it's great, but I'm also a sucker for the episode Truth from Classic. Call me biased, but when it goes to Classic, Dr. Victor obviously had the best design in Classic. While I do have a lot of love for the UEF design as well, there's no way I'd vote for Omniverse. Omniverse Dr. Victor just has too much going on, and why is there purple? Classic it is. Emperor Amelius of the Incursion improved as much as he needed to in Omniverse. Not much to change, but where they did, they succeeded. Mr. Pataliday! I can't do the accent. Also improved in Omniverse. Here he actually gets a design, not just a generic Ripjaws. Colonel Rosem is much better in UAF, let's be real. The Omniverse version just makes him look like a generic general. In UAF, he got much more love in episodes as well, so I guess that helps. Judge Domskull looked much better in UAF. I mean, do we even really need to go over this one? Time for Ignatius Bauman, legendary character. Omniverse just did much better with this one. I mean, at least he grew back his hair. Another legend, Antonio. Yeah, probably better in Omniverse, but I don't really care. He got his time to shine. It's hilarious how Yuri Lowenthal wrote him back in that second last episode. And why don't we end it on a Classic? Lieutenant Steele, much better in Classic. He does look a bit rougher, and I like his suit in Omniverse, but something about the black jumpsuit is just way better in Classic. More life to him. He just looks more withdrawn. Also, what does this uniform say in Omniverse? Sect? As in this really sects? And that's about it with the Omniverse Redesigns Part 3. Here's the stats in terms of my voting and the Discord voting for each show, so you can see the trends and whether or not Omniverse won overall. Much more importantly than all this, what do you think? Which redesigns do you personally find more attractive and why? Let me know all that in the comments down below, and be sure to like and share the video to support me out. If you somehow missed out on Part 1, where I went over all the aliens and main characters, or 2, where I went over more secondary characters like Paradox and Azimuth, as well as my top and bottom 5 redesigned videos, check those out right now with the links in the description below and card above. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on to support my hustle on these Ben 10 videos, and follow the socials with the links below to hear more from me. I need some love too, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish in the next one.